Hey, what's up, Teen Quest? Hey, I want to do a quick video just to talk to you guys about a couple things that have been on my mind. I want to talk to you about two things, and they're going to seem very unrelated, but I'll tie them together and you'll see what I mean. I want to talk to you a little bit about one of my hobbies, which is wood carving, and obviously woodworking, but wood carving, and especially. And also, I want to talk to you a little bit about your friends and that effect that your friends have on you. And I know those may seem like they're unrelated, but I'll tie them together here in just a minute. But let me show off a couple of things. Whenever I first got into woodworking, the reason why I got into it was when I was like in junior high or so. I really was interested in doing some wood carving. My dad had brought home a wood carving or two that a friend of his had made, and I was hooked immediately. I was inspired, and so I went out and got a stick out of the yard and grabbed a handy dandy pocket knife, and I started working on my first wood carving, and it was something very simple. I want to say it was a heart, I think, just a very small little heart is what I was wanting to make and give it as a gift to my grandmother. And I spent all about 15, 20 minutes working on that little wood carving, and it looked terrible. I mean, just terrible. It looked like I attacked that stick with some kind of a butter knife or something. You know what I mean? It just looked terrible. And as time went on, I gained a lot more experience, and I got older, and I realized that the problem was my knife was not sharp, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. And so, since then I've learned a lot about how to sharpen a knife. Like here's a regular pocket knife, and it's a big difference compared to what it used to be. You see what I mean? It just slices right through now with a piece of paper. That's a really sharp knife, and that's something I learned over time was how to do that. Likewise, when it comes to your friends, for a second, I'll show you some of my wood carvings. This is a Santa Claus ornament. I don't know if you can see that. That's the back side of it. There's the front. So my wood carving got pretty good over time. Here's another Christmas ornament I made. If you check that out, kind of an elf. Of course, here's Santa Claus that I made. Here's a snowman that matches him. And one of my first carvings, this is actually a baby rattle that I made for Brienne when she was a little baby. And this one here is Cole's baby rattle. It's a little ball and cage there. Yeah, I carved the ball inside the box. Anyway, but what I learned was that I needed to have a sharp knife, and I learned how to sharpen that knife. And it's kind of funny in life, one of the things that's really important for all of us to know and realize is your friends have a profound influence upon you in your life. And you're going to find that if you have some sharp friends around you, then they're going to help you to be sharper yourself. You know what I mean? If you have friends that are they're just okay with doing worldly things, they're okay with sin, things like that, that can have a profound effect on you. And in the Old Testament, in the Proverbs, there are some scriptures that I really like the Proverbs. I like the one-hit wonder verses that you find there. For example, like Proverb 26:5 says, "Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes." That's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Here's another one. Like cutting off one's feet or drinking violence is the sending of a message by the hand of a fool. There's a lot of one-liners that then that's to the very next verse. There's a lot of one-liners that I think there's some good wisdom that you find in Proverbs. But here's this one that talks about being sharp that I think is really important when it comes to our relationships. And it's found in Proverbs chapter 26, verse 18. And this one says this. It says, I'm quoting the wrong one. Proverbs 27:17. It says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." In my life, I can certainly see where some people have really sharpened me. For example, like Aaron Larimore, your youth pastor. He's a guy that sharpens all of us, right? He talks about scripture. He talks about biblical things. He lives by example. he's just this really good guy that I like to have in my life because he really sharpens me. He's he's like iron sharpening iron. He helps to sharpen me. I've got a friend at work. His name is Mike. He's really into health, and every time I go to work, he's like, hey, Ben, let's go work out. Let's go walk some stairs. Let's go lift some weights. Let's go jog around the fire station. Let's be healthy. And so he really sharpens me in that area of life. There's another guy. His name is Kevin that I work with. He's a really good hazmat technician, and he really inspires me to be a better hazmat technician. And so when I'm around him, he's a good influence on me because he sharpens me as a hazmat technician. And I have some guys that sharpen me to be a better paramedic or be a better firefighter. And even with the friends that are around me, it's really important that I recognize that I've got some friends around me that have a profound influence on me to sharpen me. And likewise, and the important principle, there's people around me too that can incline me towards dulling my life. You know what I mean? And so that doesn't just apply to me, but it also applies to you. So I know right now, as you're at home, you spend a lot of time probably online, with your friends and probably gaming and talking with them and things like that. And just be thoughtful. Be thoughtful about who is sharpening you, and not only that, but who are you sharpening? So there's just a little principle I wanted to share with you guys.